Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Alright strategy fans, here's a big one. Civilization VI is going free on the Epic Games Store this week. Not just the base game, the Platinum Edition, with all the expansions, leader packs and extra modes included. And if you've never played it before, well now's your chance. But let's not pretend Civ VI is some flawless classic. Even after 200 hours with it, I've always felt it was a weird mix of brilliant and frustrating. And now that Civ VII is out and kinda getting roasted, it's a good time to ask the question, is Civ VI still worth playing in 2025, or is it better left in the past? Let's give credit where it's due. With all the expansions, Civ VI is stacked with content. The district system adds solid city planning depth, Gathering Storm gave us climate effects, disasters and improved diplomacy, the leader variety is impressive, and the UI is still one of the cleaner ones in the genre. And with the Platinum Edition going free on Epic, that's hundreds of hours of strategic content totally free. For new players, it's probably the most generous strategy bundle you'll get this year. It also helps that the music is genuinely fantastic, with evolving themes for each civilization that build as you progress through the eras. And of course, Sean Bean's narration gives every tech unlock that extra gravitas, even if he doesn't make it past the industrial era as usual. Though I will say there's a lot of other distinguished English accents out there in this day and age, you know, not saying anything or any hints everybody, but yeah, let's move on. The game runs well on almost anything. In fact, I have the Nintendo Switch version, but the performance is pretty bad, and I think there's even a tablet version of this game. It has full controller support and a massive player base still dropping tips, builds and scenarios. There's a reason this game still shows up on the Steam top charts. But here's the thing, I never loved Civ VI. Even with all the content, the AI remains clueless. Combat is more about cleaning up poorly placed units and actual tactical challenge. Diplomacy sounds impressive on paper, but half the time Gandhi's declaring war because you built too many farms. I always said that Gandhi guy was one to watch. And let's talk about art style. Personally, I think it ruined the franchise. Okay, that actually isn't in my script, but look, I never got on with it. The cartoony graphics and bright color palette felt like a step back from Civ V's cleaner, more grounded look. It's not just about tone. The exaggerated style sometimes makes the map harder to read during big late game sessions. And speaking of late game, man, it drags. Once your empire sprawls, turns slow down, UI gets clunky, and most victory conditions feel like watching a bar slowly filling up. You're not really finishing strong, you're just checking boxes in this case. It's also a game where you can win without ever really feeling like you're playing well, you just kinda survive longer. Now, with Civ VII out, you'd think the conversation would have moved on, but here's the twist. A lot of players actually prefer Civ VI and maybe even Civ V at this stage. Civ V is awesome, I still play it on my Lenovo Go today. Civ VII launched with a lot of hype, but the reaction has been mixed, and I think that's pretty fair. Some say it's oversimplified, others call it clunky or soulless. There's definitely innovation, but a lot of longtime fans bounced off it hard, including myself. And honestly, the DLC policy is absolutely sickening, and the way a lot of YouTube channels push this game still, and then wonder why they got a backlash and are now whinging about it. I don't know, that game was just, I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed. Graphically, I first thought, oh wow, this is great. But after playing it for a while, I couldn't guys, I just couldn't. I'm an old Civ II player and it just didn't work for me. That's what happens when you let Luke ramble off of his script. But anyway, Civ VI for all its quirks feels more complete right now. It's been patched, balanced well mostly, and expanded for years. And if you didn't click with 7, look, I don't blame you. Let's milk every little bit of last money out of you. I mean, no, look, I've gone off script again, but hey, you get how I feel. Going back to 6, especially for free, might actually feel like coming home. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it. So if you're jumping into Civ VI now or returning after a break, here's some advice to try and make it a little better and get the most out of it. There's plenty of great mods out there. Now, I'm not an expert, but apparently Better Balanced Game is very good. There's a Sucky Tax mods, if I'm saying that correctly, but they're supposed to be very good. Or CQUI for quality of life. You can try some alternate victory challenges, play for culture with Mongolia or domination with Canada. If you want to improve the AI, there are some great mods out there that can make the AI slightly less embarrassing also. And don't sleep on community maps, Earth, True Start Location, or even fantasy world builder stuff. With a few mods and the right mindset, Civ VI becomes less of a grind and more of a sandbox. And of course, these days, Civ VI isn't the only game in town anymore, and honestly, that's a good thing. If you saw our previous video on 4X alternatives, you'll know there's been a real shift in the genre. Games like Old World are taking a more character-driven tactical approach, like Civ meets Crusader Kings. And Humankind, despite a rocky launch, brought some smart ideas to the table with evolving cultures and alternate win paths. Evolving cultures just made me think of Civ VII again and almost ruined my day, but look, I'm going to put that behind me. Even more niche titles like Gladius, Relics of War, which is a Warhammer game, or Age of Wonders Planetfall offer sharper combat and more distinct factions. And if you're into older gems, and like many of the people in our Discord, you'll really enjoy Alpha Centauri or Colonization, and they punch way above their weight even today. The point is, Civ VI no longer defines a genre. It's not the deepest, it's not the prettiest, and it's definitely not the most innovative. But it is the most complete version and newest version of that classic Civ formula, and for a lot of players, especially with it going free, that's enough. Okay, so the verdict, is Civ VI still worth playing in 2025? Here's where I land. If you're new to Civ, grab it. It's free, it's huge, and even if it's not perfect, it's one of the easiest on-ramps into the genre. If you've played before and bounced off it, maybe give it another shot with mods and a new Civ. And if you're burned by Civ VII, which you definitely should be, well, you're not alone. Civ VI might be a more satisfying sandbox right now than its own sequel. And if you don't mind a slightly older title, I'd encourage you to check out Civ V, but hey, this is free. It's not the best 4X out there anymore, but it might still be the most iconic, and this giveaway is the perfect excuse to give it one more run. So, are you downloading it, booting up one more round as Babylon, or are you done with Civ until they finally fix 7? Okay, that's probably never going to happen, but hey, you can always look back. If I had to be honest and I was going to rank my civilizations, and I did in a video, 2 will always be my favourite for nostalgic reasons. 5 I played a huge amount of, and I recognise the greatness of 4. Let me know in the comments, and if you want more strategy retrospectives, 4X previews, or forgotten gem breakdowns, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.